Let's go through the steps of assembling the stand of the case. I've got with me here this printed stand, the back plate, Chicago screws, a marking pen, the case itself, a metric ruler, could be any ruler at this point, to measure for the placement of the back plate, some masking tape that is going to go on fairly late in the process, a drill with a 3/16 inch bit for doing the initial drilling through the case, and then I've got one of my favorite materials for adding friction to a 3D print, and that's this liquid clear from Flex Seal. And I think this is probably about the smallest can you can get. I've used it a lot. And just some craft brushes that you can throw away when you're done. Don't even bother to try and clean them. And I'll do all that on a piece of newspaper here, just in case I'm messy. Oh, and I've got the Velcro dots, both hook and loop here, and some super glue gel that I like because it stays in place when you apply it. So we'll start with the steps that'll take the longest lead time, and really that's applying the Flex Seal to the stand, and we're going to just paint some of that Flex Seal liquid clear on the very bottoms of the toes of the stand, and then we'll set that to dry while we get the rest of the case ready. All right, I've already mixed up the Flex Seal liquid here, and I'm going to be able to do everything I need with just what kind of sticks to the mixing stick. It looks like I'm getting a bunch in the trough of the top. Anyway, we'll just take the stick and we'll get a little bit on our paintbrush. And then we'll brush it lightly on the very bottoms of the foot. Don't need much, but we'll cover that entire surface. We'll get a little more. I'm being sloppy here because I'm having to stand out of the way of the camera. Okay, so there should just be a sheen all the way across the bottom of the foot, across the bottom of the toes. All right, that paintbrush is no more. Top on, and I'm just going to stand this right up against the can and wait for it to dry. Next, we'll drill for the back plate, and that means positioning it first. So what I'll do is I'm going to take this ruler, set it across from side to side on the case, look at the width. It's about 275. Half of that is 137 and a half. 37 and a half. And that just happens to be where this little triangular recycle shape is on the back of the, or it's molded into the case. So I'm not going to bother to try and get a super accurate measurement here, and just kind of go by that. So there's a line in the top of the plate, and I'm just going to align it with that and then push it as far as I can in here without letting it ride up on the rounded top inside here, because I want this to sit flat. I want this to sit flat when it's screwed down. So I'll kind of push it up until it starts to rise and then say that's good enough, and then I'll line up this line with the center of that recycle symbol. And now I'm just going to color in the holes and hopefully be able to see that when I take it away. Probably should have used a more typical marker. What we got there. Yeah, not super clear, but not bad. And now we're just going to drill through the back here. If I had thought about this more, I would have brought up a piece of wood so that I could put that behind here as I drilled. Instead, I'm just going to hold it up off the table and start drilling. Do the same with the other hole, or the other mark. Straight through. We're going from the back side as well, just in case that helps clean it up. All right. So it's not a clearly open hole, but that's just fine because the barrel part of the Chicago screws is going to slide in there and hold that open. All right, the next part that's going to take a little bit of lead time is I want to glue the barrels of these Chicago screws to the back plate, just the head part of it. I want to glue that in here, just so if I want to remove the stand at some future time and replace it with a smaller stand or another printed stand of the same type, I can do that unscrewing without thinking that it's just going to rotate the barrel. So what we'll do is we'll take a little bit of this Gorilla Glue, actually just super glue gel, and preferably without making too big a mess, just put a couple of dots of glue on the inside edge of each top, I don't know what to call it that, of the flange. Then I'm just going to go ahead and stick it through here right away. Come on. Try not to get too much of my fingers like I did. Then we'll move on to the second one. A couple of dots of gel. Oops. Probably be better if I just set this down rather than trying to hold it up to the camera. Okay, got a couple dots there. And we'll slide it through. And I can feel it on my fingers. So turn you over. And that'll have to glue for a little while, or dry for a little while. All right, well, it's only been an hour and a half or so, and if I had my druthers, I'd probably let this Flex Seal dry overnight, but I'm really kind of anxious to get going with this video. So one of the first things we're going to do is we're going to insert the backing plate into the two holes here. Oops. Come on, get in there. Okay. And probably the most important thing is that the barrels don't extend out of the back of the case. If they did, then the stand wouldn't fit up tightly to the back of the case. So that's in place. And I want, even though these are smooth backed, what I want to do is I want to still protect the back of the tablet from any kind of scratch or whatever might come from that, definitely during the insertion phase. So I'm just going to take a piece of masking tape and I'm just going to put it over the top of those. And that should protect the back of the case, back of the tablet rather. So I'm ready to do an insertion of the tablet there. The one thing I'm going to do to prepare this, because I do want to put a bit of a Velcro dot on it, is we'll just assemble the dot right now, or add the dot right now. And I think what I'll do is I'll use the hook part and attach that to the stand, and we'll use the loop part and attach that to the back of the case. So put this in there. So the hook part of the Velcro is in place. I think I'll save a little time. Hope this works. And I'm going to lightly attach the loop part to the hook. Now, turn this over, turn this one over, align the holes. Zoom in a bit. I'll align the holes in the stand with the holes in the case. I'll put the screw part of the Chicago screws in through those holes. Whoops. Tighten it up a little bit. Put the other one in. I'm also going to push against these from the inside, so I can tighten this down pretty well. Okay, the stand is mounted with the Velcro, and you'll notice we can lift it up and it stays lifted up, so it can be opened one-handed. And it's hard to see this, but the little bit of Flex Seal on the bottom of the stand keeps the stand from sliding easily across the surface of the table. Between that and the bottom of the case, it should be pretty stable. Also, the handle, probably best if the handle is in a down position when the stand is on and you're setting it on the stand, just that it keeps the center of gravity further forward rather than moving it further back. Just keep it more resistant to rocking or anything like that. You ready to put the stand down? Just put it down and it will engage with Velcro and hold in place. Basically, because the pin is pretty tight here, it will stay in place pretty much anyway.